to create the demand, make it easy for me to purchase from you.
Absolutely. Yeah. What do you think, Ken?
I think the nail's been hit pretty much on the head. The whole thing about piracy is the fact that something is distributed, perhaps illegally, if you want to call it that way, to a number of people by one individual, but it's not done anymore in the way that it used to be done. Now it's a whole line of individuals who are sharing material on the internet. I think the problem really needs to be resolved by somebody looking at saying, okay, this is here, this is happening. How can we do this so that we can, treat the artists, the actors, the screenwriters, and so forth fairly, in financial terms, and reward them for their work through this new medium. I think if you just come down heavy on everybody and say, well, look, you can't do this, it's not going to happen. It's there, it's happening now.
Mm-hmm. How do you feel about struggling artists using your work without permission?
We've all got used to it. It's since the days of hip-hop, and I was there in the beginning in the early 80s. I should say mid-80s, I'm not quite that old, but anyway, we got used to people sampling things from other records and then rappers rapping over it, and it's happened to me in tunes that I've done back in the day. But you get used to it, and I think really at the end of the day, music is there for everybody. You're never going to play a note or a sequence of notes or a sequence of chords that have never been played before. And so music by its very nature is not going to be original anymore. And so you accept certain things, which is why nowadays you can hear a couple of tunes come out, one by Rihanna and one by Gaga or whoever, and or Beyonce, and they're very similar, and they're based on the same kind of thing. Gaga did it recently with one of her tunes, which was just basically a remake of a Madonna tune from 15 years before. Gave it a different title, changed a couple of chords. Nobody kicked up about it, and Madonna actually endorsed it. So it's just what happens now. We have to find a way that people can be treated fairly, that the originators of the music, the film or whatever, to get paid fairly from the work that they provide.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Chris, do you believe the Wikipedia protest was on the right track?
In terms of them shutting down the site, I think so, only because they can chuck their toys out of the pram for a day, and it just brings it to the fore of the public's mind. And it's newsworthy. I mean, what else were they going to do? I think they have to make a public stand, and they made one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. For both of you, with Facebook going public in stock shares, they're losing out on one of the biggest markets, China, where already bills like these have been passed, like SOPA. If these bills go too far in the UK and Wikipedia, YouTube, and Facebook are all affected, what do you think would happen to the general public? How do you think that would change our lives?
I have no idea, because again, I just don't think it will be passed. Right. I think it's living in cloud cuckoo land. It really is. It's a bit like saying, smoking is bad for you, so we'll ban smoking altogether. It's, the outcry is going to be so enormous, it's just not going to happen. I'm going to say it again, the challenge is to find a way to make what we have work, not to smash and destroy what we have because we don't agree with it.
Yeah. I mean, you've probably answered this already, but putting your business lives aside, what are your personal views on SOPA? I
don't think they're on the right line at all. It is, as I said before, and I'll say it again, the internet is here. We have created this thing called free speech and so on and so forth. I'm afraid we have to wrap up. We've run out of time. Thank you guys so much for coming today. It's been really interesting. I wish we could go on. Now let's take a look at our favorite SOPA opera and see what the mints have to say.
OMG! Oh, I can't believe you woke that. Dad, but he just waped me. Oh. Rape is not a funny thing. Is it, Mom?
No, Dad. But frape is definitely funny. You know, when you hack into somebody's details and mess around with them to say that they're gay or they're having an affair with your brother's wife. How can you not see the humour?
But it's my private life, and it should stay that way. I'm nobody famous, not like Ryan Giggs. No, nobody's interested in the life of a lonely little puppet. Boy.
What did you write about him, Billy?
Billy said that there was a car and somebody farted in it, and she claimed it was me because I ate 3 eggs. It's there, Dad, for the whole world to see.
Billy, you must respect other people's privacy. If you want to write about your brother, you have to ask his permission.
Or make sure that it's the truth.
Yeah.
Oh, Bob, did you eat 3 eggs and then release your gas?
Oh yes, I remember. Billy said that I wet the bed last week.
Well, that's clearly a lie. We all know you wet the bed every night.
Oh, no, that's just my ejaculate. That's my, Jackie Kennedy.
Oh.
Oh, what? Interesting point about Jackie Kennedy. I read on Wikipedia that back in 1993, Jackie Kennedy found a cure for crabs. I'll show you. So she thought her husband was having an affair. She took him home, she bent him over the bed, and she and then she and she it 3 times, night after night, and then she found the crabs had gone. And that, children, is how you get rid of crabs. What was all that about?
That, Billy, is SOPA, the Stop Online Piracy Act.
But what does it mean? The Stop Online Piracy Act is a bill introduced to the House of Representatives in the US last year. If it's made law, it will enable the Department of Justice and copyright holders to seek court orders against websites who are accused of enabling copyright infringement.
With up to 5 years in prison, in which you don't want to drop the SOPA. Yeah.
Well, I'm just glad that my life isn't restricted by copyright.
Yeah, it's not like we stole you backstage from an Avenue Q show.
At least the mints would think that internet censorship is pretty pathetic. Unfortunately, we've come to the end of our show today. I'd like to say a huge thank you to our guests. Join us for our next show, where we will be discovering more about the afterlife. Thank you. Goodbye.